Welcome, friends, and thank you for tuning into the Optimal Health Program today. I hope you're all doing well. As you know, we're going to touch base on a variety of cool things. Got some good articles here to talk about, and I'll intersperse them while taking your calls and questions. Interesting studies on how estrogen might affect high blood pressure risk at menopause. And seemingly women who have a little bit of estrogen and good levels of estrogen have better blood pressure than as they lose the estrogen and go into menopause. But interesting study. This is why I've been saying for a very long time, you need to have your hormones evaluated and corrected because there are multiple benefits to that. An interesting study on Wegovy, which is a GLP-1 weight loss weekly injection. It may have 5 times more the risk of vision loss than those on Ozempic. Not every drug is completely free of potential side effects, and this is showing that there may be an eye-related disorder that comes as a result of using Wegovy. The risk is higher according to that study. Daily multivitamins delay biologic aging by up to 5 months. Now, is this a super-duper thorough test as I read through this or a study? No. They're looking to see who lives longer and the people who seem to live a little bit longer on a multivitamin. But what if you corrected and perfected your D, your C, all your vitamins? What if you added exercise to that? What if you corrected your hormones? I mean, there's a lot to look at. And then if it's 5 months, but just by taking a multi, you may have 5 or 10 or 15 years by adding all these other things in. So that's where my comments would come in to be a little bit more thorough than just looking at taking a multi. And what multi? And how many people had corrected blood work by taking that multi? So this is just, fluffy research. I'd rather see vitamin levels in all the people, correct the vitamins based upon the blood test, recheck, and then watch to see all the benefits. That would make sense. Water sources may affect Parkinson's disease risk because of all the crap that's in the water. So that may be somewhat obvious, but very interesting nonetheless. And another great article talking about, is everything we know about fat in the foods wrong? And a lot of the experts who have been saying that fat is not the worst thing for you have been right for a long time, as I have. And we'll talk about that. As you can probably tell, I'm wearing a little bit of the green.
Like the green.
Because today is the 14th. In 3 days, St. Patrick's Day will be here. Wanted to thank all our Irish friends and their ancestors. And, might I say, all our Italian ancestors.
Oh.
People
don't know.
St. Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland, born in the 5th century in I think, Roman Christian, from a Roman Christian family, was kidnapped by Irish pirates at age 16. What would an Irish pirate sound like? Enslaved for 6 years, etc., came back and did all his wonderful things. So thank goodness for St. Patrick, and thank goodness for his Italian background and Irish background. Just saying. So yeah, everyone have a wonderful, healthy, happy St. Patrick's Day.
And shout out to our LFA audience.
Yeah.
I see you guys log in the chat. Annette Smith, first-time viewer.
Absolutely.
We were told to watch. We love it.
They're here. They're on point. These LFA people don't mess around. They're on point.
They don't mess around, Doc.
They're here to chat and to have some great conversation. That's what we're here to do. So very excited about that. Any questions yet?
I'm worried about the graphene oxide in the anesthesia. That's just a comment early on. People are just talking. Some questions about...
There's been talk about that as well in the nasal swabs that were used to detect viruses like COVID. So there may be other issues and other things that we're exposed to. Now that, and I'm super happy about this, worlds of researchers are going out and looking at the red dye, this, that, RFK Jr., etc., we're finding out so much more of what we're exposed to that's so harmful for us. I think it's a brilliant thing. I love the fact that every time you turn around, there's a new study or a new comment about what's inside some black with white filling cookie that's got chemicals in it that are really bad for you. And I was going to do it this week. Maybe next week we'll talk about all the different foods that have chemicals in them that are really dangerous. And these are foods you should just get out of your diet, just get rid of. I mean, most of them are junk food and candies and cookies and all this wacky colored yellow and orange and green stuff. So we'll do that because I want people to know that we should be really questioning the food manufacturers and what we're looking at.
Here's a question. Interesting one. We haven't gotten one in this realm. And I have this too, so I am curious. Any information on new tinnitus treatment?
Yeah, with tinnitus and ringing in the ear, it depends upon the underlying cause. Some people may have arthritic change of the three bones in the ear, the malleus, the incus, and the stapes. So that may contribute to it. Some people have heavy metal exposure that can affect that. Other individuals may just have a little piece of their eardrum have a little flap on it, and that flap vibrates on its own, and that could be removed. So there are a variety of different contributors. Some individuals have issues with how their skull fits on their atlas, which is the first vertebrae of the neck. And we've sent some people for some osteopathic manipulative therapy, craniosacral therapy, to help to relieve that pressure. So it depends upon what the underlying cause is.
All right, got it. What supplements help with anxiety? That's a question.
So it's not as though a supplement can change a biologic phenomenon. Or what I really mean is, if your testosterone's low and you're a guy and your level's 100, you're supposed to be 7, 8, 900, you could easily be anxious or panicky. Correcting that to the 700 range makes that go away. I've seen that thousands and thousands of times. The same thing holds true for men and women with DHEA, adrenal hormone. It's a stress hormone. You may be so stressed out that you're burning through it and you're not making enough of it, so you're chronically low. Taking DHEA as a supplement can help to bring that back up to the 300, 350 range, normalize that, and all of a sudden, anxiety and panic starts to change. With women, it could be estrogen, progesterone recommendations to correct. Interesting point today, I saw a young lady whose estrogen, progesterone were low. They weren't really, really, really low, but they were low enough to take action. And I said, traditional medicine may not recommend anything for you. Forward-thinking doctors may recommend estrogen, progesterone, but there's probably a better way to start with this. So I recommend DHEA, which can make a little bit of estrogen, a little bit of progesterone, a little bit of testosterone. If we do that early on, that may be all they need. No risk, no side effect, no issue. Take a capsule of DHEA once a day. Sometimes the dose has to go up a little bit, but if you can make better levels of estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone just from a little DHEA, that might be all you need for a few years. So that would be a first step. And if that doesn't work after a while, then you could add a little bit of the estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Heavy metal exposure can cause anxiety, so we have to test that through blood and urine. Dietary issues can contribute to that. Now, the thing that I see all the time is that people that have too much carb in their diet, their blood sugar goes up, your body gets scared, dumps insulin, knocks your sugar all the way down, you're anxious, you're panicky, you're miserable, you could have palpitations. So when I talk to patients with anxiety, it's not, oh, here's a pill, an anti-anxiety pill. I ask them about their diet, this, that, bring me copies of your prior blood tests. In many cases, doctors don't look at all the hormones, or they'll look at 1 out of 12 things. So we talk about all that, test that, make the correction, all of a sudden, the problem's changed because you corrected the cause of the problem. I corrected the cause of the problem, not just give you a drug to change your symptom, which after a while is not going to work. And anti-anxiety pills, have issues, side effects. They're addicting, and all of a sudden you're taking more and more and more because it's not working at a lower dose. So it's certainly a greater idea to find the underlying cause. I know that's a long-winded answer, but that's the best answer I can give you.
I love learning. You guys ask the questions, and I learn. Yep. I love it.
It's school.
School, Doc.
This is 44 Jeffrin School. Where's the name Jeffrin come from? So it's got to be the names of two kids of a person that named the street. Jeffrey and I don't know what. Rena. Jeffrin. It's a weird name.
I couldn't agree more. Now everyone
Never
knows where
forget
we
it,
are,
but-
by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the chat, by the way. Rumble, you're outstanding today. We love you.
We love our Rumble
What do
people,
we got here? So
our Rumblers.
we got a follow up from the tinnitus or tinnitus. Is that how it's pronounced?
Tinnitus, yeah.
I have a follow up from that. They said mine is from my first sinus therapy. I immediately had tinnitus and hearing loss after that surgery.
So a surgical insult can cut or damage nerves in a variety of tissues. I'd have to take a look at the surgical report, look at a few different things, and then look at all the other components and see what's playing the biggest role. So that's a musculoskeletal or a physical change to the tissue because of a surgical insult. Thinking of what, natural anti-inflammatories may be advantageous, but yeah, I'd have to think about that.
All right. What else we got? I eat whole foods and get back to cooking at home. We love
Good.
that.
Excellent. We want you to do that. That's why I talk about our friends all the time at Moolah Farm.
For the tri-state area.
Yep. I think they'll send stuff out as well because they package up stuff. People come and pick it up. I mean, wherever you live, search out an organic farm where you can find somewhere where they have chicken and you can buy organic eggs and you can get the healthy organic chicken just running free around the yard. Many of them will have other things like the raw milk, the A2 milk. Many of them will have meats and things, as does Moolah Farms. You can get a lot of the foods that you eat there. Also, look in your area for markets that have, fresh food and organic food markets. In Huntington, and Moolah Farms will go to Huntington to set up a table to have their product. And there's like 30 other companies that have vegetables and yams and all this great food, but without preservatives, chemicals, pesticides, all the garbage that you don't want. So wherever you are and wherever you're listening, and I'm sure there's a lot of this out west, but look for these places and buy your food there. It's honestly not much more expensive than what you're buying in the store, and I think the prices are probably a little better.
Sometimes it's cheaper.
But you're not getting the junk.
Yeah.
And once you eat the food, you're like, wow. I always tell the story. For many years, I've gone out to Iacono Farm in East Hampton because a girlfriend many, many years ago, her dad used to go there. I didn't know anything about it. And this is back when I graduated medical school in '86. And we would go out there, and they'd hand you, brown paper with a warm chicken in it, all, cut up and cleaned and skinned and whatever. And, they'd go outside, grab it, cut the head off, let it drain, put it in a tumbler, take all the feathers off it, and whatever they would do to it. But you got this fresh, killed chicken. The first time I had it, I was like, what is this thing? It was so soft and delicious, and the flavor was beyond expectation. You never want to have regular chicken again. So this is what you should do. It just makes sense. It's crazy not to.
Okay, got plenty. We got a queue of questions, Doc. So, what is an alternative other than blood pressure medication? I know we've mentioned this in the past. This is for a new viewer.
Yeah, it depends on the cause. So let's say, without knowing anything about an individual, let's say they're 20 pounds overweight. Let's also say their red blood cell level for magnesium and potassium are low. Let's say their female hormones are low or getting into the menopausal age, which I mentioned before. We'll go over that article. So there may be a variety of variables that we can change that would improve the picture. That being said, there are people that come in with very high pressure. We'll put them on medication for a month while we're changing their diet, losing the weight, correcting the vitamins, minerals, hormones, and then get them off the medication. So you got to be judicious. It really depends upon the cause and the extent of the elevated pressure. Some people eat too much sodium in their diet. There are a lot of different things. But it also depends on the urgency. You come in with 200 over 120 and you're in stroke range, we'll put you on medication. And then as that holds you down, holds your pressure in a good range, and we're fixing all the other things, by the time those things kick in and are fixed, you get off the medication. That's the way it should be done.
Are there any supplements that help with autism?
So autism is not a supplement deficiency. If it were like beriberi and, scurvy diseases of the long, long past, vitamin C helps to prevent scurvy and thiamine beriberi. So, yes, you could test blood levels for vitamins on people that are on the spectrum and correct them. It's not as though there's a supplement that's going to change that picture. Everybody has a different idea, and there aren't that many ideas as to why autism spectrum occurs, but the overwhelming evidence has always been that it's from something that's being put into your body within repetition and huge amounts of metals that should never be in your system, aluminum and mercury. And traditionally, medicine just doesn't want to hear that something that they've been pushing for the longest time is a risk. And they're always trying to say, well, it might be this, it might be that. No. It might be what you're giving them. There's no reason, and no other country in the world wants to give kids 70 injections. It's insane. And look at the Amish. Once again, no autism disorder. None. No childhood diseases. None. So people need to take a moment and start to think about doing your own research, looking online, digging deep here, there, everywhere you can. Follow Peter McCullough. Follow people that are champions of truth, not just towing the old line of, keep doing what we tell you to do. And I was thinking about this. As a matter of fact, for some bizarre reason, I went to bed last night thinking about this. I said, back in the day, we were told, oh, cigarettes are good for you. They calm you down. They're good for your throat. They make you feel, relaxed. I remember literally seeing advertisements for smoking in doctors' offices. And this doctor was putting it there, obviously, for a reason, because it was so ridiculous. You can find these old advertisements with famous actors. Oh, I smoke every day because it calms me down. It's good for da-da-da. So we were told back at that time, maybe it was in the 40s or 30s, 50s, whatever, that smoking was okay. It was good for you. We should never have listened to them. And there are a lot of things that they've said over many years. Oh, yeah, sugar, have as much of it as you want. We know that's a horrible thing because sugar damages your body in more ways than almost anything else. Oh, you can't have any fat. Cholesterol's the worst, blah, 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 blah. A lot of the things that we've been told, yeah, take as many vaccines as you can. Oh, you missed a few vaccines? Let's give your child 5 vaccines at once, without ever giving the parent an informed consent to know what was the ingredient of every vaccine. There's a lot that's been thrown at us that's been completely wrong. And you have to be a little bit more discerning. You have to question things and look and read and learn. And certainly if you want to look at both sides of the aisle and read on both, you should. But look at the numbers of people having bad reactions to these injectables, whether myocarditis or sudden death, autoimmune disorders. Now they're saying SIDS is primarily correlated with these newborn injectables. I mean, makes sense, people. Don't try to gloss over something that seems to make sense to you. Research it. Don't just automatically listen to people putting out this, rigid info because, in many cases they're wrong.
And someone just commented, well, they only just flipped the food pyramid right side up.
Right? Think of it. And I've been doing this for 40 years. Look at all the people who could have benefited over the last 40 years if they didn't have all the carb and junk food and stuff that they've had. It should have been flipped many years ago. But the people behind it somehow making money, whether it's the food manufacturers, and I don't like them either, unless you're making organic foods, have been putting crap in the food forever. And if they sell food to Europe, Europe restricts certain components, yet they still give us all the bad things that Europe doesn't want. Why is that good? Who's responsible at a food company for allowing different things to get into food? There are these famous cookies which apparently have glyphosate in them.
Even I heard even our cherished Girl Scout cookies.
That's what I'm talking about. Glyphosate, Roundup. Look at every food you consume. Look at every food you want to look at, whether it's Girl Scout cookies, Oreos.
My favorite. You can't even melt them.
What's in that freaky?
You could put an Oreo behind the space shuttle; it wouldn't melt.
Wait, space shuttle. Now,
Uh-oh.
did they put Oreos behind the lunar module, or the rover with that freaking inside-out antenna? Please. Every time I get on Instagram, TikTok, and I look at stuff and I know what's fake and what's not, but every time they pop up something about how did the the rover get to the moon? It wasn't attached to the moon. I'm like, how did that ratty little, lawn chair? It looks like a lawn chair.
Yeah.
Get to the moon. And then a post yesterday or today said, how did it run? There's no gas. There's no combustion on the moon. There's no oxygen. How did it run? I was like, Let me think about that for a minute. It started to bother me. How did that thing that needed a massive rocket ship to blast it off of Earth to get to theoretically the moon or Utah desert, wherever the hell it was filmed, how did that thing lift off with no propulsion from the surface of the moon? Look at that thing. It's like gold-colored tin foil. Look at the door. Look at the doors. I mean, look at the entire shape of it. How does that survive that much distance?
I'm trying to find it. I found a clip, but even the Mars rover, Doc, I forget the name of the. There's an area, not in America. It's on a isolated island, and there's no roads to get there. But we have a NASA space base there to test things, all including the Mars rover. They tested.
Yeah, movie studio. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. People have actually taken boats there and traversed and found the exact spots of what they send us. Look what the Mars rover just
what
found.
Mars looks like, yeah.
And they match it, and it's perfectly. It's on.
Yep,
It's on
I've
Earth.
seen it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's wild.
We're never told the truth.
Never. All right, wait. I got some questions here. Funny little comment I missed before. Said pretty sure getting the mRNA vax, COVID, and flu jabs caused TDS. I agree with that.
Yep.
Just automatically. What Trump? What?
Yep. Absolutely.
So our audience is aware of the Girl Scout cookies. That's a good thing. What else do we have? We had one on dementia, actually. What do you recommend for dementia? Any natural remedies or supplements that will help?
So to look at dementia in a similar, train of thought, dementia is your brain shrinking and losing the number of cells in your brain. It's also losing the new healthy, young, functional cells in your brain. And because you've gotten older, you're not making the new cells like you would when you were 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So it's shrinkage. It's not, making the new cells. Therefore, your neurotransmitters decrease. Separately, heavy metals like aluminum cause dementia and Alzheimer's because they're coming in from the outside to electrochemically destroy the brain cells and the brain tissue. So there's a lot going on. And women that have hormone decline typically get there faster. Same thing with men with hormone decline. So you have to look at the whole picture. Yes, you could correct the hormones, but that is not giving you new brain cells. Yes, you could correct vitamins. There are medications that have been used for dementia and Alzheimer's for years. I don't think they work at all because I've seen thousands of patients in all these years that have tried those things and have had no benefit. The only thing that I think that works as a mechanism to put new cells into your brain is stem cell therapy, and we can prove that. And there are millions of studies online that prove stem cell therapy works, and it's safe and it's effective. So in essence, we're taking your best cells from your bone marrow, the crest of the ileum, which is this little bump right here, once we sterilize and numb it, It's a fat little bump, so it's easy to access on anybody, even if a person's big. And we sterilize them. Minute and a half, we extract, spin it for a half hour. Then we have IV and nasal droplet to go directly into your brain. And if you see the stroke patients, the Parkinson's, the Alzheimer's patients on my social media stuff, Instagram and all that, if you look at the website, if you look at the interviews, the YouTube channel, all of that, you'll see it. You'll see how it works and the benefits of it. Yes, I would correct vitamins, minerals, and hormones because we always do no matter what. But the best mechanism to put new brain cells into your brain, to therefore have those cells make their own neurotransmitters, is by far the best approach.
All right. We got what this is. You're gonna like this one. How did they call? Quote. How did they call the moon from Earth? Take a landline with them?
That's the biggest load of crap. I can't call Frankie and I'm 10 minutes away and the phone doesn't go through. And if you're in the same room with a person who's got an iPhone and you have an iPhone, the call won't go through. So how is it that Nixon on a crappy, I don't know what phone that was, the dial phone, it was a little rotary phone. How does he connect to something and then so far away, did they talk to him before they landed too? That would be even more ridiculous. When they landed, how did they talk to him? And how is it clear? And how did it take a second as if they were in a studio right around the corner? How did they answer the call that quickly? And how is it so clear? That's just BS. There's no way that's possible.
Hollywood.
No way. And someone said, "Oh yeah, they had all these special technology." Where is the technology? They've admitted that the technology that brought the astronauts to the moon was on some tape. It didn't have a label on it, which I don't believe at all, and it was probably taped over or destroyed. I'm like, that's just the biggest load of crap I've ever heard.
It's comical.
Billions of dollars in technology, and you don't preserve it somewhere locked in a vault? It's just nonsense. They want you to believe all this stuff. It's right in your face. Building 7 in the city, 9/11. It was demolition. Nothing hit the building, and it fell in its footprint. 2 gigantic towers fell in their footprint. I was speaking to someone who's a jet, an aviation enthusiast, and someone who owns a jet company. That jet fuel doesn't sit there and take time to burn and go all the way down 100 stories and sit there and then burn, so that everything separate from the elevator shafts where they thought the jet fuel went, and everything was pulverized. I was there. Pulverized. There was no desk, no chair, metal, wood. There was nothing. Pulverized. There was nothing recognizable there. Oh, wait, there was a passport.
2 blocks.
So the passport you can't destroy with, mega thousands of whatever they call the heat units, Scoville heat units or whatever they are. But, it's just all bullshit. They just want you to believe it. And every time they tell you that, oh, yeah, they're just lying at you. That's all they do.
Here we go.
Sorry for our little sidetracks, but...
Listen, we got to do it.
Yeah.
Medical related. My wife is 6 weeks pregnant. What vaccines, congratulations, by the way, what vaccines do you think would be beneficial? And she had, her thyroid was checked, was at 37. I know that can't be good, ? Right?
What marker on thyroid? This T3, T4, TSH?
We'll wait for that response. And then they also said, I had other kids, and as soon as the baby comes out, they give Hep B and all this crap. I don't want this baby to get that.
Nope, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Homeschool the child. Don't do it.
Yeah.
There's no reason other than the people involved making extra money to give a hepatitis vaccine at birth. There's no reason for that. None. There never has been. And they've caused more damage with these things than almost anything else. Why does a newborn baby have to get protection against either a blood transmitted or sexually transmitted with people that are doing dangerous things? Why would that baby need to be protected against that? Just answer the question. Any doctor, any pediatrician, answer the question. That's insane. And to give vaccines to a woman that's pregnant, that's insane. I go back to my usual dinner conversation with people that want to be stupid enough to ask me about these things. I say, well, what things are you not allowed to eat when you're pregnant? And then a woman would say, oh, fish. You can't have fish because of mercury. I'm like, well, why is it okay for you to get a vaccine that's got aluminum and mercury in it, or a few of them, or flu shots while you're pregnant, which the baby would be exposed to? And I say baby. Clearly, baby in your body, baby in your womb, not a clump of cells or all this other crap that people are talking about. And why is it okay to give a newborn the hepatitis vaccine? It's not, ever. And why should they be getting multiple vaccines without any informed consent? That's not right. Medically, it's not legal. They're supposed to give you a form that tells you everything that's in the vaccine, the risks, etc., and you're supposed to sign it. No parent would ever give the child a vaccine if they know it was monkey kidney cells or mouse kidney cells or aborted fetal cells or any of the other crap that's in there. So.
And I love the chats. The chat's all screaming, no vax. My grandson had no vaccines, is 2 and is healthy, nor my daughter who is pregnant. No. So good to see you. We got all our chatters chatting. Let me see. I'm just getting through the questions. I love the conversation, guys. It's a beautiful. It must be the weather, Doc.
Yes.
Weather changes. Everyone's
out and about. Everybody's happy.
Yeah, oh yeah. We got a question about organic syrup. Is it good for you?
So if you talk about organic, but if it's still honey or sugar, then it's still honey and sugar. It's probably better for you. But for some people, you don't want to have all that sugar in a tiny little concentrated tablespoon or so. So it's not really to your advantage. Some people like agave. Some people like monk fruit, which is healthy and organic. It just tastes like maple syrup, but it's not. There's no sugar. So for a lot of people, that may be a better option. And again, there are people brought up on pancakes and waffles. I get it. So was I. But knowing what I know now and having to change the carb and sugar exposure for a lot of people, I tell them to get the monk fruit syrup. There's no sugar in it. Get almond flour and make your pancakes or your waffles with egg, almond flour, etc. There's no grain and no carb in it. So you're not taking in tons and tons and tons of sugar.
And I have a little anecdote. My cousin was up in Vermont skiing, and they bought a bunch of, the Vermont syrup.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Paid a little, pretty penny for some organic, fresh. He brings it home, and his daughter, my niece, she, they make pancakes, and she has it, and she's like, oh, I don't like this syrup. And it's fresh, beautiful syrup, but they're used to the artificial sugar. It's like true fresh syrup. The kids don't even like it.
Correct.
Because of the poison.
It tastes different because it's got no junk in it.
No corn syrup.
Yeah, cornstarch, corn syrup, which is horrible for you, which I think there was a couple of studies on heavy metals in corn syrup, the high fructose corn syrup. So that stuff's got to be out of your diet. Mm-hmm. Also, people read labels, read every label. If chicken in the store has some sort of comment about washing, that means they've dunked the chicken in bleach.
Oh, yeah.
To kill germs. So you have to start looking at these words and terms they're using and be aware of them. Now they've changed the term vaccine to biologics. So in hospitals, they don't have to tell you you're getting a vaccine if they're giving you a biologic.
Are you kidding me, dude?
Yeah. I was just reading about that.
That's great. All right, what else we got? My grandson was born at 32 weeks, 4 pounds, 4 ounces, and is nearly 3 and healthy as can be. He gets colds, but do naturopathic supplements to help. Tylenol reduces glutathione, also bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Sorry,
Be
I
as
thought that was a
healthy as you
question. Don't let them put the drops in your newborn's eyes. The baby doesn't need them. Those drops are for treatment when the mother had gonorrhea. I didn't hear about the eye drops.
Yeah, that's been around forever. I think people should look for and buy like an Amish remedy. I'm serious.
It's
A
true.
Amish remedy book.
100%.
For diseases and childhood issues, because whatever they're doing, they got it right. Their kids don't get sick. I mean, the clothes they wear are kind of funny looking, but all right. So you wear funny clothes. That's fine.
Yes, I wondered the same thing, and I asked the wife. She thinks it's the TSH level. She will look at her chart. That was regarding the
thyroid.
The thyroid. This is a question, obviously not regarding smoking specifically, but is nicotine good for you? What's your thoughts on ivermectin as well? Nicotine.
It's hard to say. I think nicotine is a stimulant, and because people are so overexposed to it in cigarettes, I don't know that there's any significant health benefits to that. So I don't think that nicotine really needs to be in your system, needs to be in your body. And 4,000 other chemicals that it takes to make cigarettes obviously are horrendous for your body. So that's why there's the issue there. There are some people online that are not doctors talking about a nicotine patch for people to get off medications and saying, oh, it's great for your brain. It's hard to say. I haven't seen a study that says, oh, nicotine patch is good for this or that brain-related issue or disorder. It's a stimulant, so I'd rather use something more natural that's great for your brain, your body's always had, and maybe you're not making enough of it as you've gotten older now, NAD, nicotine adenine dinucleotide. NAD is a chemical that your body makes for brain function, for cellular repair, improving immune response, decreasing cancer risk. So NAD is important. We do that through injection, tiny little injection that goes into the skin of your belly, and people love it. It works really well. Nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. So although the terms are similar, nicotine and nicotinamide, this is what your body's always had made. I'd rather use that than something your body's never seen.
Okay. Question regarding, I think you mentioned the almonds before. They asked, don't almonds have a high glyphosate use?
You have to really be careful of choosing the organic company you're getting your almond milk from or almonds from. I think there's a potential for contamination in lots of things. As I do, I'd go online and look at the manufacturer and look to see if there's any connection or if there's a study or something that says there's a glyphosate connection. Also, I keep taking screenshots of this one company, and I keep forgetting the damn name, where you can go on your phone and look at the food label.
Yes. Is that Yucca? I have the Yucca app. That one's a good one.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Yucca. I know there's a company.
Or Yucca's for the seed oils, maybe.
It'll take me a minute to find, which I wish it wouldn't take me.
Oh, there's Seed Oil Scout, which will tell you which restaurants around you are using seed oils and which are using natural oils.
But there's also one that looks at chemicals in your foods. And I've seen it's sort of a Instagram picture where you hold your phone up to the bar on the food and it reads
everything in it.
It reads what's in it and it will tell you this is bad because of this, this, and this.
Is castor oil good for you? Someone wants to know.
Probably not. That's sort of an old recommendation from days past. Where is this stupid thing?
Olive oil's really taken the throne here.
You could look online, see if there's an app that tells you what chemicals are in foods.
I'll get that app.
Just find out what the name of it is. I know I've taken the picture of this numerous times.
Yucca, that's the one I mentioned. EWG's, Healthy Living, and Think Dirty. Those are three that I see. Think Dirty, EWG, Skin Deep. Oh, that's for cosmetic stuff.
Here's an interesting post. Bayer is a pharmaceutical company. Monsanto is a pesticide company. Bayer bought Monsanto. Bayer makes drugs for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Monsanto makes Roundup glyphosate, which causes non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. See, it's gone full circle. Very interesting commentary.
Unbelievable. What are your thoughts on parasites?
I think they're bad little critters that you shouldn't have in your body for any.
And the follow-up would be, how can we remove them from our bodies?
Well, you've got to test to see what your body may be exposed to. Wish I could find this thing. You have to test to see what your body may be exposed to, and then you certainly can take steps to help to, wipe them out. A lot of people think that every little symptom they have is a parasite, which is not true. It's not possible. But usually parasites cause really major issues. And on a blood test, the parasite might elevate your eosinophils or other important tests that would give you an inkling as to that they might be there.
Someone in the chat said, I use Healthy Living app by EWG.
That sounds good. Yeah, I took a picture of it, but I can't find it.
It's in the ether. Acquired hypothyroidism intermediate. Is that a question? I'm sorry. Sorry, MAGA Metal Dude. I love your name, though. I have hard time driving because of anxiety. Any ideas?
Well, just as we spoke about anxiety before, we have to figure out why the anxiety is there. So we have to look at the biochemical underlying causes, hormones, vitamins, minerals, heavy metals. There are some people who show normal on all these tests, and their anxiety is just a mechanism that repeats when they're in an uncomfortable environment. And for a lot of people, we either talk to them to try to understand why that's there, and then certainly we have some people going to psychologists. Psychiatrists like to use meds all the time, and I'm not a big fan of that. But it's like saying that if you walk down this rug every day and you're stressed out, you're going to wear a hole or a line in that rug, and it's just going to get deeper and deeper. If you start to feel the anxiety or the symptom, and you just think about it for a second, and you just change your path and walk your way down a positive pathway, then you're breaking that psychological cycle. So for a lot of people, that makes a big difference.
Back to MAGA Metal Dude. I'm sorry. I'm a little slow today. So this is a follow-up from the thyroid panel.
Mm-hmm.
So acquired hypothyroidism, intermediate, TSH-free, T4, 224576P, -P. I don't know if I said that.
What's the TSH? TSH is supposed to be between 1 and 4. If it's higher than the 4, the brain's asking for more thyroid. T3 is supposed to be close to 100. T4 between 8 and 10 or 11.
Okay, so he says T4 in there. T4.
So a high TSH would be low thyroid. A low T3 and T4 would be low thyroid. So I'm not sure what the numbers are. What's the TSH?
Well, it says, I wish I could just text this to you, but acquired hypothyroidism, intermediate, plus TSH plus free T4 -224576-P.
I don't know what 224577-P means.
I don't know. It's probably in the panel. Not sure.
Yeah, so the parameters of TSH should be between 1 and 4. If it goes higher than 4 and keeps going higher and higher, that means your brain's asking for more hormone. If T3 and T4 are low, or individually one is low and the other's not, then that's a decrease in production of the thyroid hormones from your gland.
Got it.
So it depends on the testing. That's how we would try to work with it.
Okay.
And heavy metals damage your thyroid.
All right, let me see if I missed anyone. I know you guys were going quick. Someone wants to know if you can comment on halal meat. I've been looking into it.
I've never had it. I mean,
No?
to some extent.
I like it. I love it.
I may have. Actually, there's a place
Gyro.
on, what is it, Roslyn Road? As you go north above the parkway on the right, that's got really great, I think it's a combination of different types of Mediterranean meats, maybe some Persian, and it must be halal. But I don't know what mechanism they use to determine, whether it's organic or not. I'm not sure the religious ramifications for halal compared to otherwise. How would halal meat be different than other meats? We can look that up online.
I know it's good when you're a little drunk in the city and you got no other options but the halal cart by Penn Station. I'll be honest, that's my introduction. What's the healthiest oil to use for cooking?
Olive oil. Olive oil is the best for your body, no matter what.
We got some anti-halal because of the Iran, Allah and such. But I think there's a separation between.
Yeah, again, I'm not sure of the process of making sure that the halal meat is organic, free range, blah, blah, blah. That would be the most important thing. It doesn't matter what religious conviction you have. If it's not organic or healthy, then it's not as good.
All right, let me see. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody over here. Okay, there. Sorry, guys. Just a lot of comments I'm going through. We got some comments on clothes being filled with chemicals unless you use pure cotton wool. Mm-hmm. Funny enough, I had a moment, Doc. The other day, I'm looking at my underwear drawer, and I'm like, you know what? How many of my underwear has synthetic plastic crap in it? Mm-hmm. And I separated, and I was like, you know what? This pile's going in the trash. Cotton only going forward.
For years, and there was a lot of stories in the news about children's clothing having things in it that would make them more easily catch fire. And then there was a movement to put flame retardant chemicals in their clothes. I'm like, no. Just make them without any chemicals, make good, healthy cotton stuff. And for many years, people that would lean towards, buying or making clothes from hemp, there's no chemical, there's no stuff in it. So probably a decent idea.
Also, I've been hearing that you shouldn't be using dryer sheets. At this point, I'm just pretty sure I'm just supposed to throw out everything. Nothing's okay.
Think of it. It may smell good, but it's a chemical. You could look up those chemicals online if you can spell them easily enough to look them up and see if there's any risk or side effect to it. I've said this for many years. There's a book by Richard Lewis, not the comedian, rest his soul, but it's food additives in ordinary foods. There are like 60 some odd chemicals in chicken, 75 in steak. They don't even have names, but when heated to a certain temperature, some of these chemicals are carcinogenic. There's a lot of crap that chemical companies have been giving us that are horrible, and they're the bad guys.
That's for sure. What are your thoughts on osteoporosis injections?
We don't do them. I don't recommend them. I like to do it more naturally with correcting vitamins, minerals, hormones, exercise. We get good results with that. Some of the injections are high risk for esophageal cancer or jawbone destruction, so I'm not a fan of them. It may be a quick fix to try to change that picture, but what else is going to happen as a result of it? So you have to think about that every time someone recommends a medication.
We got some Richard Lewis fans in the chat.
He was great.
Very funny guy. Organic cotton is best. I use wool, dryer balls, and lavender essential oils. Now that I think about it, my whole trick back in the day, Doc, everyone would be using the off spray in the summer, yeah. And I would go and I'd take a dryer sheet and I'd rub it all around me, and I'd have them sticking out of my pockets. And now I realize I've just filled my skin with.
You super chemicalized yourself to get rid of the mosquitoes.
Yeah, I guess that's where the sixth finger came from.
One other thing I forgot to mention. When we talk about correcting and helping with osteoporosis, we're walking you back to where you had good levels of your vitamins, minerals, and hormones to maintain good bones. Why should you never do that again and just use a drug that's got bad side effects? Common sense. In women, they need testosterone just like men do, just not as much. So if a woman loses estrogen, progesterone, calcium comes off the bone, testosterone's low, vitamins are not good, you have your osteoporosis. If we correct the vitamins, calcium, boron, magnesium, potassium, all the vitamins, and then we correct DHEA, testosterone, women need a little bit of it, they should be in a range of about 40 to 50, and estrogen, progesterone, and they do some exercise, maybe some weight-bearing activity, you'll get improvement. And no risk.
All right. I just want to say I'm sorry, YouTube. I'm sorry. Rumble's been very active. We love our LFA audience. But we do have these questions from the this could have been a little while ago these came in. But hey, Doc, which chemicals and water supplies have research looked at when studying Parkinson's risk? It's probably from earlier.
I think primarily heavy metals. They're talking about pesticides because we know that pesticides correlate with Parkinson's. A couple of the pesticides, which really should be outdated and not used anymore, chlordane and things that are meant to kill termites, that was used a lot back in the day. And heavy metals are major components of it. So, but remember, we test everybody, certainly with any neurologic issues with heavy metals or blood and urine, and you see a lot. You know, the only people you don't see much on would be the youngest population, but they're starting to pick up arsenic from chicken, shrimp, rice, apples, etc. So the metals are there.
Can't escape. Let's see what else we got here. If women approaching menopause could start doing one thing today to protect their health, what would it be?
Great question. The first thing that comes to mind is rigorous exercise, because that's what you could do on your own to flood oxygen, vitamins, minerals, and hormones to your cells, enhance your metabolic respiration, get rid of waste products of metabolism. But you still need to test for and correct your vitamins, minerals, and hormones. So exercise is probably one of the most important things that you at home or at a gym or wherever you want should be doing every day for a half hour to 45 minutes to help to keep your body healthy and strong.
First-time listener, very informative show.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have that update for the T4. So it was TSH 37.6.
Yeah, that's high.
T4 free direct 0.47 NG.
So the brain is asking for more hormone by a lot because that TSH shouldn't be more than 4. So you could try using a little bit of T3 and T4 in a natural thyroid called Armour thyroid or NP thyroid and watch to see the T3, T4 come up and TSH come down. You can't just look at T4, free T4 and TSH. You have to look at all those things because the T3 might be low, but you'd never know it if they're only looking at, the T4 free and the TSH. That's why we do a bigger thyroid panel.
I love this comment. It's a shame how they're killing us. I think about that at least once a day.
Yep. What was that whole thing about men thinking about the Roman Empire? How often do you think?
Oh,
I don't know what that was all about, but you're seeing, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? I'm like, I don't think about the Roman Empire. Except I'm watching a History Channel and looking at how they built the aqueducts and all the other stuff.
I think the joke is it ended. And we're coming to an end here.
Okay. Now that tends to make more sense. But, yeah, things you should think about are, what exercise am I going to do today? What am I going to eat today that's healthy and good for me? What bad choices am I not going to make about food? Oh, I'm starving. I can't wait to eat. Well, put a little Coleman cooler in your car if you go from one place to the next and have some good healthy food in there. Have some vegetables, have, some nuts, some seeds, anything. Protein shake, protein bar. It's not hard. It's not rocket science.
How dangerous are the chemtrails from Poppy Top?
I think they're probably very dangerous because we know they're putting aluminum in them and who knows whatever other chemicals they're putting in them.
Yeah.
I think they're the reason for a lot of bizarre weather effects, and it's going to be correlated with a lot of illness and disease.
I feel like they've gained a lot of ground. Like 10 years ago, you talk about chemtrails. It's like, oh, look at this guy. Now everyone's like, they're freaking spraying us, guys.
Once again, and these evil people in positions of power are doing this stuff for a reason, for depopulation and for causing damage. You know? And you could say the same about this recent pandemic. Try to prove to me that this wasn't created and this wasn't something that was a normal virus until it was changed between Wuhan, Chapel Hill, and what Fauci did. You know, we put a little TikTok or an Instagram blurb up, and one of the things that was on the video was talking about the pandemic, and someone said, "Oh, don't believe someone who says that this was, a manufactured virus." Really? Where did it come from? Do you really think people eat bats in a wet market, even in China, which is a scary place to begin with? Jesse Waters did a whole expose on this with the Chinese lady, the doctor in Wuhan, at the Wuhan, Coronavirus Institute. Why would it have that name? Why would you name a building after the bug? And he said that it was brought to Chapel Hill, then to Ohio, and Fauci made it with gain-of-function research. Everybody's heard that term. Gain-of-function research is meant to see how to make a virus more infectious. People, they did this on purpose. You can't sit back and say, oh, no, this is just nature. It doesn't happen that way. Is it possible that every September there's a new flu bug that comes around only in America? Every September, a new bug? And they already have 350 million bottles of flu shot to treat it? How long does it take to make 350 million bottles of flu shot? A week, a month? Nah. So, yeah, for the person who said, oh, don't trust it. Look, you have to read. Go on Dr. McCullough's website. Go follow him on Instagram. He's a brilliant doctor. He's very highly regarded. You have to follow what he says. If you don't want to believe what I say, follow what he says.
This chat is just making me laugh. Why is Fauci not hanging on a tree? I love it.
I don't know.
We're waiting. Vaccine, quote, vaccine made before virus was made.
Right. Here's another good point. Thank you for bringing that up, whoever that was. How many people were given a vaccine since COVID started? Billions? 4 billion, 6 billion? How long did it take to make 4 billion to 6 billion vaccine shots? How many facilities in the world had to be making this vaccine, testing, creating? I mean, I'm not saying testing for safety, testing to see that it was sterile or pure or whatever they might be testing it for. How long did it take to make that many billion shots? It didn't happen overnight, people. In 2015, the Journal of Nature, and even before then, I think also Journal of Science in 2005, they were saying we shouldn't be messing with, a coronavirus because they're very easily transmitted. This was made. The vaccine was made. Vaccine was in production way before they released the bug. How do you not get that? If the bug came out, in January or February, I think it was out and about in Europe and in China 6-8 months, maybe a year before. How were there billions of vaccine shots available right away? Come on. Think.
Math ain't mathin', as they say. What a joke. A lot of hate for Fauci. I'm just going through the Fauci comments.
Oh, yeah, people have been hating him since the AIDS, crisis, because what he did. So he was just allowed to stay in power to do whatever he wanted or whatever he was told to. Mm-hmm. You can run, but you can't hide. Isn't it, where in Europe, is it Netherlands, or they have, they're taking Gates and Fauci and all these people to court?
I didn't see that.
for crimes against humanity. Yeah. Apparently, there's court proceedings ongoing now against all that.
Please.
Look up European court charging Gates and Fauci, etc. Let's go, people.
Let's go. I'm looking that up right now. In the meantime, I have this question. How would you treat Hashimoto's? My thyroid peroxidase antibodies are 81.
So a lot of people in some literature talk about heavy metals affecting your thyroid because, and certainly for people who have the fillings in their teeth, the silver amalgams, it's 50% mercury. That's inches away from your thyroid gland. So one of the prevailing thoughts is that heavy metal exposure might be creating that. So we'd look through blood and urine at heavy metals and use a modality, an intravenous treatment to help to pull the metals out and see if we can glean any benefit from that. Again, everybody's different, so we have to start somewhere. We will always look at your vitamins, minerals, hormones anyway, but I would look at heavy metals specific to your antibodies, your body making antibodies against the thyroid. Because we know that happens with other autoimmune disorders.
By the way, I did look it up, and in October 2024, that a civil lawsuit against Bill Gates regarding COVID-19 vaccine safety can proceed in the Netherlands, rejecting his challenge. So it's just Gates, not Fauci.
Okay.
But wow, love it.
Yeah, so that's ongoing now.
So it's Bill Gates, former Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte, former Dutch Minister, blah, blah, and members of the Dutch COVID-19 outbreak management team and the Pfizer CEO, Albert Bourla.
Yep. Good. Go get him. Did you see that Trump wants to protect, who are the whistleblower guys, the gigantic ones with the guy that was in jail for a long time hiding out in Europe? Snowden and
Snowden and
Julian Assange.
So what's the deal?
Well, he wants to protect him and get more info from him and figure out what's going on.
Well, you'd think that I'm a little disappointed that he hasn't been released into America and like pardoned because Obama's like a criminal and made.
Well, remember, if he's released out to where someone can get him, they'll kill him.
True.
I think Trump should just go get him, bring him back, treat him as heroes and, give them some sort of hidden identity so they can kind of live a normal life and, keep us abreast on all the criminal activity these people were doing. Obama hired 9 attorneys. There were criminal attorneys. 9. Yep, it's coming. We're coming for you. We're here. All these horrible people have to get their day.
It's time. It's time. Frankie, those names sound like the Epstein list. Yeah, that was from Epstein and, yep. Oh, all the people I mentioned in the Netherlands
case. It just keeps going and going. More stuff coming out about what was in those files. All this horrible cannibal stuff. Ooh.
All right, so do rapid fire. You guys just got great questions. What do you suggest to detox heavy metals? I have some options. What do you use?
The only thing that works is calcium EDTA. It's an IV that will grab the metals, pull them out into the urine. You see them coming out. You can document how much comes out. You do 10 treatments, then you redo the urine and see how much you've depleted. Nothing else gives you that ability to see what's there through blood and then urine initially, then urine after the IV to see what we took out, and then looking at the 10th IV to see how much has been depleted. So that's the only thing that works. No zeolite, no chlorella, spirulina, no oral vitamin, because those cannot be measured as to what they're doing. Also, I've seen tons of people that have taken every possible thing known to man, saunas and spirella, chlorophyll, spirulina, all these things. And when we do the IV on them, which binds to the metals irreversibly, and then we collect a 12 to 24-hour urine afterwards, you see a ton of metals come out. So we can prove that they don't work. And the joke about the foot pads and the foot baths, there's no science behind that whatsoever. So it's a joke. So the only thing that'll do that, and you could prove that it's working, would be the IV in the urine.
What's a good cholesterol number, Doc?
So there are people all over the world that may have decent or high cholesterol and no plaque, but we like to shoot for under 200. So the rule of thumb is that cholesterol 170, triglycerides 70, HDL 70, LDL 70. That would be nice, because then your risk is relatively low. And homocysteine should be as low as possible, closer to 2. C-reactive protein should be low. All the other cardiac risk factors should be low. Vitamins should be high.
Are saunas, steam rooms, and cold plunges beneficial to your health?
There's evidence of the infrared saunas being beneficial to help immune response, maybe good for cardiac issues, the warmth and the dilation. The only thing you have to be careful of, too much heat can cause heat shock protein response, just like too much cold can cause cold agglutinin response, which would not necessarily be healthy. I think the fad of jumping into cold water is incapable of producing any long-term benefit. You freeze your little whatever's off, and then you think just by doing that, something beneficial is going to happen that day, that week, that month.
My brother's not going to want to hear that, Doc.
There are people out there that are not doctors saying, oh, yeah, do this, do that. And all of a sudden, it becomes a fad. Yes, if you sit in ice or a cold plunge, maybe you'll be less achy, but it's not making new cells or making your body healthier or younger. No evidence.
For our new member, I know your views on this, but what are your thoughts on statins, Doc?
Statins are horrendous. All bad, no good. Because they wipe out CoQ10. And doctors push statins because the drug companies tell you to. They want to put people on statins. So in the future, you won't have any cholesterol issues. That's insane because you're wiping out CoQ10. There's a pathway, a biochemical pathway, where CoQ10 is made, and then cholesterol is made by your body. Made by your body. When you block that pathway at the HMG-CoA reductase area, you're not making any of your own CoQ10. And you're blocking the creation of cholesterol. So CoQ10 is super important for your brain function, inside your cells, mitochondria, everywhere, your contraction of your heart muscle, all your muscle, your brain. Statins now are linked to dementia. The list goes on and on and on. Do not use statins. Low-carb diet, exercise, red yeast rice, natural, safe, simple, berberine. There are a lot of different things that could help, and you won't need the statins. We don't use them. I've never written for statins. There's no reason for it. And remember, my scientific approach, test, recommend, and retest, so we could prove that what we're doing is working without the statins.
I've heard cold plunges not as beneficial for women. Glad to see that. Laughing emoji.
The interesting thing is you won't find studies saying that doing a cold plunge 3 times a week definitely does this, definitely does that. In this segment of the population, you don't see it.
There's a product out there called Foreign Protein Cleanse. Do you feel that is a good product?
I don't know the product,
sure. Yeah.
But
can't
Foreign
comment.
Protein Cleanse. That brings to mind some scary Halloween-like image in my head. Why are they calling it foreign protein? Where's it coming from? China? I don't know. You want to look up Foreign Protein Cleanse?
I'm looking it up.
And see what's in it?
Let's see what we got.
Why would they market it as Foreign Protein Cleanse? And then what are you really cleansing?
Let's see.
Foreign Protein.
Looking it up.
Cleanse.
All right, here we go. Global Healing. Green bottle. Welcome to the future. Sorry.
Purify your body naturally. What are you purifying and how? And where's the proof?
Product targets and detoxes spike proteins in the body.
How?
Doesn't say how.
And where's the proof? This is just a sales pitch. So
Lobol-
they make a pretty looking bottle.
Lobelia.
Show me
Licorice.
research. If they had research on it, they should put the research on their website so they can prove it. But think of how they make the pitch. Welcome to the future of advanced nutraceuticals. Next generation of rapid delivery, enhanced bioavailability, powered by cold press microsomal technology, which means nothing. Built over 25 years of health and wellness, trying to make you think that they're doing something good for all these years. Advanced ingredients. It's a nice chat, but where is the science?
I will say that guy, Brian Artist, looks familiar. Why does he look familiar, that guy?
I don't know. I don't know what his certifications are.
Let me see.
But again, even if you're taking some great things, show me, prove to me that it's doing what you're saying it does. I don't think they can. You can't prove that any of those ingredients get inside your cells, bind to certain things, and you could draw the blood and find them bound to those things, or you could look at urine and see that they're being pulled out. So it's a sales pitch at best.
Yeah, it looks that way. What else we got? Is apple cider vinegar good for your health?
Vinegar is acetic acid, so it is an acid. So I don't think that you're going to see or feel any difference by taking apple cider vinegar.
We already have too much foreign here. I was referring to Kit Kat Mar in the chat.
I don't get foreign protein. Maybe it's just a name to create people talking about it.
Yeah, the marketing team was like, what would make this extra clickable?
They really, if they were smart, should call it lunar landing protein, because we could make believe that they took proteins off the face of the moon. And because the moon has stayed in the sky for so many years, it's got to work.
Oh, man.
I'm feeling a little sassy.
Chat's relaxed a little bit. If you guys have any more questions, dump them.
Let's talk about female hormones. You need them. You've always needed them. It's nice to have them. You should have them there as you get older, because then your body will do better. This talks about the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, women's health, 40 to 59-year-old women with high blood pressure, menopausal. It stiffens the arteries. It affects your sensitivity to salt. Premenopausal women, their blood pressure is better. The estrogen decline affects the renin-angiotensin system, affecting electrolytes. Prudence Hall, MD, an OBGYN in Santa Monica, was saying all of this cool stuff, that the female hormones decrease cardiovascular risk, lowering the risk of cardiac death. Smart woman, use a little bit and just bring your hormones back a little bit to where they were 10 or 15 years ago, so that you maintain your benefits. Daily multivitamin delays biological aging by 5 months. Trial finds, 5 months. What does that mean? Look at all your vitamins, test them all. They don't do that. Correct them all, do the exercise, low carb diet, all the good things, and it'll be a lot more than 5 months. Could be 5, 10 years, 15 years. I've seen it in 40 years of doing this. We've taken people who are overweight with all sorts of bad problems and cardiac risk and this and that, and you fine-tune this, you get them to exercise, follow the plan that we put together, and they're doing great. They've lost the weight. They look like $1 million. One of them is a gentleman on the website who was diabetic, cleaned up his diet, got him to exercise, did stem cells, became non-diabetic in 2.5 months, lost 50 pounds, a whole different person. Whole different person.
Wow. Just real quick, we got in the chat. Does Dr. Calapai only come on Saturdays at 2:30? I don't want to miss a show. And hey, listen,
Thank you.
LFA only gets Calapai. Ooh, rhyme. On Saturday. But other than that, we're running the show every day of the week on the regular YouTube and Rumble, the Optimal Health program. or Dr. Chris Calapai. You could find him there.
5 days a week. Always at 5 o'clock?
Yep, 5 o'clock.
5
And
o'clock.
then look for him on Instagram, Dr. Chris Calapai. He's everywhere. Just give him a follow.
Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
Don't miss him.
YouTube holds all our things, all our prior shows, into the 100-some-odd shows. Yeah, we love LFA. We love Rumble. So the more we can do with them, the better. We're putting some little spots to tell people during the week to watch the Saturday show. So, yeah, the more we can chat with you, the better. Tell your friends, family, everybody. If you're, communicating with people on other planets, just have them watch the show. Why not?
We have a question that we can't answer only because we're on YouTube, and this has given us a strike in the past regarding chemotherapy, so we're going to skip it. We got to skip it.
There are a lot of things that are done now that are not chemotherapy. Monoclonal antibodies, a variety of different things. There are integrative oncologists that do a variety of different things, not just the old school approach.
Perfect.
And relatively soon we will be interviewing one of them. Really brilliant doctor that I know, Dr. Jesse Staff. We're going to be putting together some other interviews. One of them is a gentleman that owns a gigantic, serious gym in Syosset, Bev Francis Powerhouse Gym. I want to talk to him about how he's been in the business for so many years and how people get super, super fit in that gym. I just joined it. Again, I was there years ago. Went away to Gold's Gym and Lifetime, and not that they're fluffy gyms, but they have all the little fluffy things like the hot tubs, saunas, and pools, and etc. The equipment is not what it's like in Bev's. Bev's is serious equipment I've never seen before, with multiple pulleys and all great brand new equipment, and the gym is gigantic. And it's just full of a whole nice bunch of people, guys and girls. Everybody's friendly. They'll help you work out, blah, blah, blah. Some of the women there are in unbelievable fitness shape. And they compete, and then there are pictures of all the famous bodybuilders, that have always been there, and football players and athletes and stuff. It's nice. It's good. And there are a lot of nice people. So I love it. So my latest foray is to push myself and see how far I can go and how hard I could go. So for the past couple of month and a half or so, I'll go meet my friend Rich at Bev's Friday morning. We'll work out. Then we'll do a hardcore kickboxing combined MMA class, which is exhaustive. And then in the afternoon, I'll meet one of my buddies who's our highest ranking black belt from the karate school and go do a karate workout. That's 3 workouts in one day. People think I'm an idiot. And maybe I am. But I said, I just want to see if I can do it. And I did it. I'm like, wow, I feel really good. Because the endorphins are flowing and you're like, wow. And then I'll go to Bev's 3 more days a week. Tuesday night karate class is a fight class, so we fight and spar. Then our Kyoshi, one of our high-ranking black belts, Tom, we'll all call. We're in a little thread, and 4 or 5 guys, hey, let's go, and we'll meet there. We were there this Friday. We're going to go tomorrow. We may go Monday, and then Tuesday's class again. So I'm just pushing it just to see how far I can go without killing myself. And I feel actually really good. For me, it's better than running a marathon. I hate running.
Oh, yeah.
26 miles, please. I don't want to run.
I'm with you there.
Ankle and knee and back issues, aches and pains. Who wants to run? But it's invigorating, And of course, I take all the vitamins and minerals based upon my blood test. Everything's correct, hormone correction. So I feel really good. I'm a little surprised that I was able to do this workout every Friday for the past couple of months. And I'm like, all right, I'm in. I'm here I am. This is my baseline now. So if you see me shrinking away and my fat decreases and my muscles start to increase, you know why.
All right. What else we got here, guys? Thank you for doing this show. I've learned a lot today. You have answered all my questions. We love to hear that.
Great.
We got
You're
a
welcome.
discussion asking about beet juice for cleansing.
I'll tell you 2 stories.
I hate the taste of beets, by the way.
One story. I mean, they're okay. Maybe an acquired taste. My friend Mike, who I go fishing with all the time, he's a character.
I'll talk Mike.
So we go upstate, and we stay in a little cabin. And this cabin hotel, it's like all these cabins, has a little restaurant connected to it. And they have a big salad bar. So he and I walk over to the salad bar, and there's a tray that big of beets. I like beets. He likes beets. His brother likes beets. So we start taking some beets and go back and then take another thing. Between the three of us, we finish the whole tray of beets. Now, if you haven't had a lot of beets before,
I know where this is
you
going.
don't know the effect of the beets. So within 15, 20 minutes, I had to go and handle the effect of the beets, which everything came out of my body, I think, from when I was a child. Any food that was left over, whatever, it was wow. And I said, well, I can't do that if I'm going to go and do an activity because I don't want to get stuck. But yeah, there's a cleansing effect of the beets. I'm not sure it's cleaning out your cells or otherwise, but it may help to clean out your intestines. Then, of course, you have to realize that reddish color when it's coming out, if people don't realize it, they're scared that they're bleeding to death. And then it was on one of those TV shows. I don't know if it was House or what was that show with all those people on it?
Scrubs.
One of those shows.
Yeah.
And a person had, bloody stool. And then the doctor checked them and said, this isn't blood.
Beets.
It's beets. Oh, yeah, we just harvested the beets. We had beets the other night. Da, 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 da. Yeah. So, there's a lot of sugar in beets, so I don't know if you want to have that much sugar. But everything in moderation.
We got someone in the log in the chat says, come on, Frankie, they help you live longer, the beets. I'll cook you some this summer. All right, listen, deal.
Hey, it's a big, serious Italian thing for the beet greens. In Italian, they call them bietola, the beet greens. I know about 5 people that are laughing at this right now, besides you. But there are nutrients in the beet greens, and the greens are delicious, just like greens from all sorts of other sources. So, yes.
Oh, this is an extra fun one today, guys. Shout out to our Rumblers. I joined YMCA as I'm in Medicare, so it's free with silver sneakers and do e-gym and a circuit like a CrossFit. There's 12 stations. There's a lot of classes and equipment. Love it.
Good, smart.
Keep it
it's
moving.
Free. Maybe I should do that. But you have to wear silver sneakers. Can you wear different colors? Can you wear... That's great. People, take advantage of what you can take advantage of. If you have Medicare and they allow you this or that, take advantage of it. To go to a gym free is great. Go there every day. Do something for a half hour to 45 minutes every day. You'll thank yourself for it. You'll thank me for it.
All right. Pretty chill.
That makes you young. Okay, so we have 33 calls. To break the 37 last week, we need 5 more calls.
5 more calls. All right, wait, hold on. Let me.
Frankie, can you call home, text home, and tell somebody to give us 5 calls?
Okay, wait. We already got one. What meds do you recommend for young adults that have ADHD?
Similarly, I would look at heavy metals because there's a correlation there. I think the more natural things would be better for ADHD and maybe NAD itself because that's great for brain function, focus, concentration. But it depends. Is the diet horrible? Is there junk food on board? Are their vitamins low? Are their hormones low? So I would do the workup, and I would tend to use more of the natural mechanism like the NAD as opposed to using, the Ritalin or the Adderall.
There we go.
And allergy correlates with that too.
Hold on. I saw another question somewhere. Hold on. Oh, you guys are funny. I'm still laughing at the beats. My mom made a spring soup using beet leaves. All right, we're back on the beets. All right, guys.
Spring soup, good. Yeah, love it. Hey.
Silver sneakers are
beet greens.
classier.
That's true. That's a good look. No, using the beet greens in soup is a great idea. Look, I mean, how hard is it to go get a good organic beef broth or chicken broth, for example, chicken broth, bone broth, even better. Get some vegetables, beet greens, a couple of beets, some nice healthy little potatoes, those little purpley colored potatoes, which are delicious. Get those, put some organic vegetables, some onions, some garlic, whatever else you want to put in it, make yourself a really good soup. That's not hard. It's the easiest thing you could do. Let it boil there on the stove, etc. Now you've got a great meal. You can put some pepper, some seasoning. I like Cajun seasoning.
Oh, yeah.
I put Cajun on everything, but you could make that. It's easy. Also, if you're inclined, get cauliflower rice. And some people say, oh, it's not cauliflower, it's cauliflower. I'm like, really? So get that. It looks like rice. It tastes like rice, but it's cauliflower. Put it in a pan with garlic and olive oil. Put some peppers, tomatoes, pignoli nuts if you're Sicilian. I mean, you could put anything in there and make it a big meal. And there's no carb. There's no sugar. It's great for you. There's so many different, things that you can do.
Do you recommend arthritis? Do you recommend arthritis Tylenol over regular?
Depends upon the extent of a person's pain or joint pain. Part of me says if you're having a significant amount of pain, then you might need something a little bit stronger to be able to create your benefit. If the regular arthritis, or the regular formula doesn't work, then yeah, maybe using the Tylenol arthritis would be a better choice. But I still don't want to totally block a person's pain, because if you're blocking it or you take a steroid shot, you don't feel it. You're getting worse, but you don't feel it. That's why in many cases we get an MRI. We may do the PRP or stem cell, depending upon the wear and tear and the damage of the joint.
So close, guys. We need to break the record. Right.
One more call.
Man, hold on.
We could talk about anything. One more call. Let's talk about Erica Kirk and how she's a monster.
Listen.
Anybody want to talk about how much of a monster?
I'll say this. Even if you don't think any of that's weird and any of the, his assassination, if you think that's all totally kosher and normal, these emails, like I have Turning Point, I'm subscribed to a lot of their email chains and stuff, and like the way that they like use him for donations, it's just like in bad.
Horrible.
It just is bad taste for me
Yep.
when it's like, oh, like continue Charlie's
Charlie would have
mission.
wanted you to sell your house and give us all your money, and Charlie would have wanted,
It's right.
It's wrong.
Don't love it. Oh, we got another question.
I feel that he got abused both by people that he worked with, people that were donating to get control of his massive following. I think he got abused by a woman who was completely insincere and a really big manipulator and a liar. She lied about not having any relationships, and she had 5 of them before Charlie. And, in New York and whatever else, she said, oh, I'm not, because I'm watching to see what's going on. Yeah. And now there's some correlation with Epstein.
Yeah, there are some. Apparently she ran.
These Epstein files are really, really showing stuff that nobody would in a million years believe. But she's on there.
Yeah. How can you make ice cream without sugar, Doc? Keep on the topic.
So our wonderful Moolah Farms friends make healthy organic ice cream. And they take the cream, they make it, and they just take strawberries and put the strawberries in it. That's all you got. Tastes great.
Wow.
And it's amazing to just taste the strawberry and nothing else, nor the chemicals, and to know there's nothing else in there. Or, they may make chocolate, they may make, different types. But that's what I like. Everybody should like that. Everybody should say, hey, I want to find a place where I can get these organic eggs and this and that and, eat all this great food.
All right, I got the tiebreaker, Doc, I think. Or are we already past it? Did we win?
I think we're 1 over.
All right, well, we're about to be 2 and 3. We got a couple. What do you recommend for type 1 diabetic pumps? Tubeless, ?
I really haven't recommended the pumps because overwhelmingly my patients, when we do low-carb diet, exercise, correct vitamins, minerals, hormones, stem cells, we see some pretty dramatic benefit. Most of the type 2s become non-diabetic. Type 1s come down to where they're using very small amounts of meds or insulin, so we haven't recommended the pumps. But the stem cell, even though your pancreas is not working as well as it could, is still connected to your blood, so the stem will go there. So I think that's a better option.
And then, is stem cell expensive?
Worldwide, stem cell is expensive, and there's no reason for that. So Mexico, Panama, Costa Rica, which were the places that were available in this area, this side of the globe, for years have charged between $30,000 to $60,000. That's way too expensive. But they were the only game in town, so they figured that's what they were going to do. Does it cost them that much to do it? No. For women in different areas that were giving their umbilical cord after giving birth, they're not paying them a great deal of money, whether it's a lab facility that's buying it, freezing it. I mean, there's no major cost in that. So to charge that much is not right. When I did my training and I got my fellowship certification, the fees were $12,000 to $15,000, which were less, but they didn't have a fee or a cost for just doing a wrist or an elbow or an ankle. So I negotiated those numbers down to $5,000 per treatment, where nowhere in the world is stem cell therapy $5,000. I mean, real stem cell, bone marrow stem cell. You wouldn't want to use umbilical, amniotic, or God forbid aborted fetus anyway, because you don't know the infectious history, the genetic issues. You don't know anything about the donor. There's no health report. They're not testing for expensive, disorders. So you're just getting something without any knowledge behind it. That's why they don't allow that in this country. And the FDA has put a ban on that a long time ago. So you're only allowed to take your own cells out, spun, and back in. If you're doing intravenous stem cell, that fee was cut in half to $7,500. And then intravenous, if you're adding on nasal droplet to go to the brain or nebulizer, that was an added $2,500. So it's considerably less the way that I do it, but you're getting the best protocol. You're getting your own cells. There are a variety of people, institutions, controllers of the medical realm that don't want stem cells to exist because they're making a lot of money keeping you on 10 drugs for diabetes or keeping you on or having surgical procedures done. I'm not saying that all surgical procedures don't need to be done, but people that have really bad issues need surgery for joints. Other people with small meniscal tears and things would benefit greatly from stem. So it depends upon the extent of the injury in that realm. But there's no drug that's going to take a person with diabetes and make them non-diabetic, type 2. We've done that with stem. There's no drug that's going to take a person who's had strokes and create that result. And you can see the videos on the website. So you have to understand this is one of the greatest things that's ever come through in medicine. Right now, there are 10,000 clinical trials on stem cell therapy. That's more than anything that's ever existed. So, by far one of the greatest things that's ever come across in medicine. We've done it for scalp, for hair rejuvenation, facial rejuvenation, joints, Alzheimer's, MS, Parkinson's, stroke, liver, kidney, heart failure, lupus, rheumatoid, diabetes, COPD, macular degeneration, diabetic retinopathy, any of the degenerative disorders in your body. Important to learn about it.
All right. Are med beds real?
Med beds?
Med bed? Am I saying that right?
MEDBED?
Yeah, med bed.
Trying to think of what context they're talking about it.
Med beds or medical beds are non-existent sci-fi technology. Oh, okay. Didn't see that one coming. That forms the base. Yeah, okay. It's not what I was
technology.
Not what I was expecting. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I don't think that something like that exists. However, everything that I'm looking at and seeing with this remote patient monitoring mechanism where we can send you home with a blood pressure cuff, a glucometer, blah, blah, blah. A watch, even Samsung's made a really good watch for this purpose. So all your vitals and information get sent to our computer so we can track your vitals every day, a ring and a band or a bracelet. Soon you'll be able to sit in a chair in your house, which will look at your circulation. A little pad goes on your chest and reads your EKG. You get on an exercise bike, you pedal that, all this information, like a little stress test, all this information goes directly to the doctor. So every day we can track and see what's happening. If problems occur, you deal with them right away. You don't let a week go by with some vague symptoms. A patient doesn't know what to do. And sooner or later, they end up in the ER with a $300,000 ER bill. Medicare doesn't want that. But being able to evaluate and test you at home is a great idea. Will there be more things happening in the future where you get these devices or the eval done at home? Yeah. A lot of future medicine is going to be the initial contact with the doctor's office. I'd like a telehealth visit. You're on the phone with the doc, the nurse prac, the PA. You talk about the issue. A lab goes to your house to draw the blood. You review that. You know, if you need gallbladder surgery, obviously you've got to get in and get examined if you have major issues. But most of what medicine is going to be is calling, setting up the telehealth visit, and then putting the plan together. And if you already have, or if the doctor sets up the glucometer, the blood pressure cuff, the watch, the ring, the bracelet, and now we're gathering this data on you, and we can say, hey, you're doing great. You lost 10 pounds. You lost 15 pounds. Your blood pressure's lower. Let's get you off the meds. It's genius. It's just one-to-one immediate care with your doctor rather than waiting forever to, try to figure out what to do after the fact. It's preventive medicine. Medicare has never spoken about preventive medicine before. So learning about your body, strengthening you, making you healthier as you go forward is the goal. It's what we do. Okay. You broke the record.
Boom.
Now we're at 40. That's the new record. Let's break it next week. I may have to have my mom and my aunts and uncles and cousins call in, as I might have done back when I started radio. But that's another story. Thank you for watching the program. God bless you all. Take a look at the website, drcalapai.com. Call us at the Garden City office, 516-794-0404. Email us through the website. Contact us any way you'd like. Carrier pigeon, balloon, dropping down a note, drone, whichever way you'd like to contact us. We'd like to hear from you. Right, Frankie?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, friends, we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye now. God bless.